Welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel, fellow collectors and curious minds. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Australian coinage, focusing on one particular coin that sparked a lot of interest over the years, the 1981 no-mint mark Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. While it may look like any ordinary piece of change, this coin carries with it a unique story of international minting, hidden varieties, rare errors, and rising interest among numismatists around the globe. Whether you're an experienced collector, an investor, or someone who just found an old coin in a drawer, this is a video you won't want to miss. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore the true value, history, and hidden secrets of this seemingly simple coin. The 20-cent coin has been a staple of Australian currency since the decimalisation of the national currency in 1966. It replaced the old florin and retained a similar size and weight. The reverse design features the iconic image of a platypus gliding through the water, a symbol of Australian wildlife and national pride. On the obverse, the 1981 coin bears the familiar portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, facing to the right, a design used widely across Commonwealth coinage during this era. In 1981, Australia experienced unusually high demand for coinage, particularly the 20-cent denomination. As a result, production of the coin was outsourced not only to the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra but also to other international mints. Despite being struck at multiple locations, none of these coins bear a visible mint mark to distinguish their origin. This makes the 1981 20-cent coin a particularly interesting subject for collectors who enjoy identifying subtle variations and rare anomalies. To meet the rising demand in 1981, three main facilities were involved in minting the 20-cent coin: the Royal Australian Mint, the Royal Mint in Wales, and the Royal Canadian Mint. However, none of these coins were marked with letters or symbols to differentiate their source. As a result, all 1981 20-cent coins look essentially identical at first glance. They share the same basic design, date, and composition. But when examined more closely, they reveal subtle differences in the dies, the depth of the strike, the details on the platypus, and the edge milling. This lack of mint marks has created a unique challenge and opportunity for collectors to identify these coins based solely on design variations. It also laid the groundwork for some of the most interesting varieties and errors in modern Australian numismatics. Among the most sought-after varieties of the 1981 20-cent coin is the so-called claw variation. If you look closely at the front paw of the platypus on the reverse side of the coin, particularly the claw underneath the number 2, you may notice something unusual. Most coins show 4 well-defined claws. But some coins, believed to have been struck at the Canadian Mint, show only 3.5 claws. That is, the last claw appears faint or only partially struck. This subtle detail has become one of the key identifiers for collectors. The 3.5 claw variety is considered scarcer and more desirable than the standard 4-claw version. Collectors often pay a premium for this variety, especially when it appears in uncirculated or mint state condition. So the next time you're inspecting a 1981 20-cent coin, take a closer look at the platypus's paw. It could be worth much more than you think. One of the rarest and most intriguing anomalies tied to the 1981 20-cent coin is the mysterious scalloped blank error. During mass production, errors sometimes occur, and in very rare instances, the coin dies used for striking the Australian 20-cent coin were mistakenly used on blank planchets intended for foreign coinage. Some reports suggest that a small number of 1,981 20-cent coins were accidentally struck on scalloped planchets originally meant for other currencies, possibly intended for overseas clients. These error coins are extremely rare. They exhibit a scalloped or flower-like shape, rather than the standard round edge of the 20-cent piece. If authentic, these errors are considered numismatic treasures and can command extremely high prices among serious collectors, potentially thousands of dollars, depending on condition and verification. Finding one is like discovering a hidden gem. But caution is advised. If you believe you have such an error, have it examined and authenticated by a reputable grading service before making any assumptions about its value. As with any collectible coin, condition is everything. The value of a 1981 20-cent coin increases dramatically with the quality of preservation. Coins are graded on a scale ranging from poor and fair for extremely worn examples, all the way up to mint state or proof for coins that are essentially untouched and flawless. Collectors look for sharp details, strong strikes, clean fields, and minimal signs of wear or damage. For the 1981 20-cent coin, key areas of interest include the Queen's portrait. Check for crisp detail in the hair and crown, the platypus design. Look at the fur, the claws, and the ripples in the water, the rim and edges. Ensure they are evenly struck with clear milling. Coins that have been circulated and show signs of wear are typically worth only a small premium above face value. But coins in extremely fine condition, or better yet, uncirculated, can attract much higher offers, especially if they feature one of the desirable varieties. So what is the 1981 no mint mark 20-cent coin actually worth today in 2025? Let's break it down by category. Common circulated coins. These are the coins you'll most often find in everyday change. They show moderate to heavy wear. In 2025, most circulated examples are worth between $1 and $2 Australian dollars, depending on condition, extra fine to almost uncirculated coins. These coins show minimal wear and strong detail. They may sell for anywhere between $3 and $5, especially to casual collectors. Uncirculated coins, mint state. These coins are in pristine condition and have never been used in circulation. In the current market, they can be valued anywhere from $8 to $15, depending on grade and presentation. Claw variety coins, 3.5 claw in high grade. These coins are more desirable and can command $10 to $30 or more, depending on demand and clarity of the variation. Scalloped blank error coins. These are the most valuable of all. If authenticated, a scalloped edge error coin from 1981 could be worth several $1,000s, possibly more if sold at auction to the right buyer. Of course, values fluctuate based on the coin market, collector interest, and the economy, but these figures reflect the current trends as of 2025. If you have a 1981 20-cent coin and are considering selling or collecting more, here are a few key tips to keep in mind. Do not clean your coins. Cleaning can significantly reduce value by scratching or dulling the surface. Use proper storage. Keep coins in coin flips, capsules, or acid-free albums to avoid damage and tarnish. Get a professional grading. For potentially valuable coins, sending them to a grading service can increase buyer confidence and boost market value. Research before selling. Check online marketplaces, auction results, and collector forums to understand current pricing. Buy from reputable sellers. If you're building a collection, make sure you're buying from trusted dealers to avoid counterfeits or altered coins. In conclusion, the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin with no mint mark is a fascinating piece of history. While many of these coins are common in circulation, certain varieties and high-grade examples hold real value to collectors. The story behind its international minting, the mysterious claw differences, the elusive error coins, and the growing interest in Queen Elizabeth-era coins make the 1981 20-cent a truly collectible piece. So the next time you find a 20-cent coin in your change, don't dismiss it too quickly. Examine it closely, appreciate the history, and who knows, you might be holding a rare and valuable treasure right in your hand. The 1967 no-mint mark Australian 20-cents coin, a coin that may be sitting unnoticed in drawers, jars, or personal collections, and could be worth more than you think. We'll take a closer look at the coin's history, why it carries special interest among collectors, what makes it unique, how much it could be worth in today's market, and what to look for if you're hoping to sell or start collecting. So sit back, subscribe, and let's unravel the hidden value behind this fascinating piece of Australian numismatic history. The year is 1966. Australia is undergoing a monumental shift, moving away from the imperial currency system of pounds, shillings, and pence, and adopting decimal currency. This new system introduced coins in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50 cents. It marked a new era for Australia's monetary system. The 20-cent coin was introduced as part of this transformation and quickly became a standard coin used in everyday life. On the reverse, a sleek, modern depiction of the platypus, one of Australia's most iconic and unique animals. This design was chosen to reflect national pride and modernity. On the obverse, the regal portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted with elegance and strength. Although the first 20-cent coin was minted in 1966, its successor from 1967, which carries no mint mark, is the one we're focusing on today. Physically, the 1967 20-cent coin is substantial. Struck in cupronickel, it has a silvery sheen, weighs 11.3 grams, and has a diameter just shy of 29 millimeters. It features a reeded edge and a smooth, rounded profile. Now, here's something important: the 1967 20-cent coin does not have a mint mark. That's not because it's an error or a rare variety. In fact, most Australian coins of that era, especially those minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, simply did not include mint marks. So the absence of a mint mark is standard for the 1967 issue, but don't let that fool you into thinking the coin has no potential value. Now let's talk rarity. In terms of mintage, around 84 million 20-cent coins were struck in 1967. That number might seem high, and in truth, it is. From a circulation standpoint, the 1967 20-cent coin is not rare in the traditional sense. However, as with many vintage coins, condition is everything. Most 1967 coins were used in daily commerce. They were tossed in tills, jingled in pockets, and scraped across vending machines for decades. As a result, finding a high-grade example, one with minimal wear, no scratches, and full original luster, is considerably harder than finding a well-worn specimen. For collectors, this is where things get interesting. A heavily circulated 1967 20-cent coin might only be worth its face value, 20 cents. But a coin in extremely fine, about uncirculated, or mint state condition can command a much higher price. These are the coins that draw attention in numismatic circles and auctions. So what are collectors looking for? First, the condition. Grading is typically done on a scale from poor to mint state. Coins that are graded MS60 and above, meaning mint state, with no signs of circulation, are much more valuable. A 1967 20-cent coin in mint state condition can sell for many times its face value. Second, the details. Sharpness in the Queen's portrait, clarity in the platypus design, and a strong strike all contribute to value. Coins with original mint luster, untouched by cleaning or damage, will always outperform those that have been tampered with or heavily used. Third, potential errors. Every now and then, an error coin is discovered, a piece that was misstruck, struck off-center, or even minted on the wrong planchet. These are highly sought after by specialists. While most 1967 20-cent coins are standard, a confirmed error variant can increase a coin's value dramatically. Now let's get to the part everyone wants to know. What is the coin worth in 2025? As of today, in the current market, circulated 1967 20-cent coins in average condition tend to sell for anywhere between 50 cents to around $5, depending on where. These are common trades among beginner collectors or casual enthusiasts. However, if you have a high-grade coin, particularly one that has been professionally graded and encapsulated, the value increases significantly. A mint state example could fetch anywhere from $30 to over $100 depending on grade, eye appeal, and demand. Coins with confirmed minting errors or striking abnormalities may be worth several $100s, though such examples are rare and require professional authentication. Online listings sometimes show outrageous prices, claims of thousands of dollars for ordinary coins. These are usually unrealistic. The true value of any coin is what a willing buyer and seller agree upon in a knowledgeable marketplace. So what should you do if you have a 1967 20-cent coin? First, evaluate the condition. Is it heavily worn or does it have a near-new shine? Second, check for unusual features. Any odd shapes, misalignments, doubling, or thickness variations might be worth investigating. Third, avoid cleaning the coin. Even if it looks a little dirty, cleaning can destroy its collectible value. Serious collectors prefer coins in their original state, even if slightly tarnished. Finally, if you believe your coin might be valuable, consider having it professionally graded. Certification not only verifies authenticity but gives buyers confidence, a crucial factor when selling or auctioning. The world of coin collecting is more than just numbers and metal, it's about history, craftsmanship, and national identity. The 1967 20-cent coin represents more than pocket change. It's a symbol of Australia's leap into the modern age, a moment of transformation frozen in time. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious investor, or just someone who found an old coin in the back of a drawer, the 1967 Australian 20-cent coin has a story to tell. Its value lies not just in dollars and cents, but in the role it plays in the tapestry of a nation's past. So the next time you come across one of these silver-colored coins, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small treasure, one that carries history, design, and the potential for value far beyond what's stamped on its face. The Australian 20-cent coin from the year 2000 featuring Queen Elizabeth II, specifically the version with no mint mark. Is it rare? Is it valuable? Could it be worth more than just its face value? And what should you look for if you think you may have a special version of this coin? Stay with us as we walk through the complete background, coin specifications, rarity profile, collector interest, and its potential value in today's 2025 market. Australia introduced decimal currency on February 14, 1966. This marked a major shift from the old pound shilling pence system to the dollar and cent system we know today. The 20-cent coin replaced the florin and retained a similar size and weight. From the outset, the 20-cent coin featured a distinctive design that has become one of the most recognizable in Australian coinage, the image of a platypus swimming, surrounded by ripples and water lines, symbolizing the natural fauna of Australia. This design was created by Stuart Devlin, who served as the goldsmith and jeweler to Queen Elizabeth II. The obverse, or front side of the coin, in the year 2000 bore the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait shows the Queen facing to the right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a piece she often wore in official coin portraits. In 2000, millions of 20-cent coins were struck for general circulation. These coins were produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, and it was standard practice at the time not to include a visible mint mark on coins intended for circulation. As a result, the absence of a mint mark is not an error or a sign of rarity. It is completely normal for regular circulation coins from that year. The 2020-cent coin is made from a cupronickel alloy, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It has a diameter of 28.65 mm and a weight of 11.3 grams, making it one of the heavier and more substantial coins in the Australian decimal system. The edge of the coin is reeded, and the reverse side features the aforementioned stylized platypus design, with the denomination 20 prominently displayed. The initials of the designer, SD, are often subtly included in the design, blending into the water lines. The obverse side presents Queen Elizabeth II's portrait with the inscription, Elizabeth II Australia 2000, forming a circular border around her image. The initials of the artist, IRB, can be seen just below the neckline. The mintage of the 2020-cent coin was relatively high. Tens of millions of these coins were produced for general use, making it a common coin in circulation today. The high mintage means that in general, the 2000 no-mint mark 20-cent coin is not considered rare in its standard form. These coins were distributed across the country and used widely in everyday transactions. For most people, the 20-cent coin from 2000 would have been nothing more than change in their pocket, until now, when collectors have begun to take a second look. Although the absence of a mint mark is normal for these coins, there are certain versions, such as proof coins or collector issues, that were made with far lower mintages. Additionally, in rare cases, error coins or special die mismatches occurred during production, and these can significantly affect a coin's value. Let's talk about the different forms the 2020-cent coin can take, because not all versions are created equal. First, there's the standard circulation coin, which makes up the overwhelming majority of the 2020-cent coins. These are the ones most people will find in pocket change or old coin jars. They show typical signs of wear and are worth face value or slightly more if in better than average condition. Second, we have uncirculated coins. These are coins that were never used in everyday transactions and were instead kept in mint rolls or collector packaging. They have sharper details, stronger luster, and no visible wear. These coins can attract modest premiums, especially if they are certified by a grading service as being in mint state condition. Third, there are proof coins. Proofs are struck using special dies and polished blanks to create mirror-like finishes and incredibly fine detail. Some proof versions of the 20-cent coin from 2000 were included in collector sets, and these coins have lower mintages and greater appeal to serious numismatists. Finally, we must mention the extremely rare and valuable error coins. In some very rare cases, a coin may have been struck using the wrong die, for example, a 20-cent coin with a mismatched obverse or reverse design. These are called mule errors, and they can command staggering prices if confirmed authentic. Error coins are usually found accidentally by keen-eyed collectors and require expert verification to confirm. So what is it that makes a coin collectible or valuable? There are a few key factors: rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance. For the 2020-cent coin, rarity is low in general circulation coins due to the high mintage. However, uncirculated or proof examples are less common and thus more desirable. Condition plays a major role. A coin that is scratched, worn down, or tarnished will have little appeal beyond its face value. In contrast, a pristine uncirculated coin with full mint luster can attract premium offers from collectors. Demand also drives value. The popularity of coin collecting in Australia has grown steadily, especially for coins featuring Queen Elizabeth II following her passing. Coins from significant years or with unique attributes are being snapped up by collectors as keepsakes, pushing up prices on certain items. Historical context is also important. The year 2000 marked the beginning of a new millennium. Many countries released special coinage or sets that year, and while Australia's standard 20-cent coin remained unchanged, the year itself adds a degree of symbolic value for some collectors. Now let's talk about what really matters: the coin's current market value in 2025. For a standard circulated 2020-cent coin with no mint mark, the value typically hovers around face value. That's 20 Australian cents. In good condition, a collector might pay a bit more, perhaps up to $1 or $2, if the coin has minimal wear and strong eye appeal. Uncirculated examples are more desirable. These coins, especially if stored properly in coin flips or albums, can sell for $3 to $5 or more, depending on their condition. If the coin has been graded and received a high mint state rating, such as MS65 or higher, the value could climb further, possibly reaching $10 to $20 in the right market. Proof coins from collector sets generally command higher prices, sometimes in the range of $30 to $60, especially if they are in original packaging with certificates of authenticity. The big jump in value, however, comes from verified error coins. If you suspect that you have a mule error, such as a 20-cent coin with the wrong reverse or an incorrect design pairing, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But again, this must be authenticated and confirmed by a professional grading service. So while the average coin is worth little more than face value, there are exceptional versions that hold real value for collectors in 2025. If you have a 2000 Australian 20-cent coin with no mint mark, take a moment to examine it closely. Look at the condition. Is the design still sharp? Are there any scratches or discoloration? Does it have the standard platypus reverse, or does something seem unusual? If it appears to be in excellent shape, it could be worth setting aside or even having it appraised. If you believe you have a proof coin, check for mirror-like surfaces and fine details. These are not typically found in loose change but may come from proof sets or coin collections passed down over time, and if you suspect you have an error or mule coin, it is essential to consult a numismatic expert or grading service for verification. These are the coins with real potential to surprise you in value. Ultimately, while most 2000 no-mint mark 20-cent coins remain common and low in value, exceptions do exist. With the growing interest in coin collecting and the nostalgia attached to coins featuring Queen Elizabeth II, now is a good time to review your collection and see what treasures you might already have. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new coin spotlight. Got a 2020-cent coin? Let us know in the comments. Is it a regular find, or do you think it might be something special? Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and happy hunting.